Yay, looks like we're back. Sorry, guys. Don't know what's going on. For once, it wasn't actually our internet. We are still going really strong blue. That basically means that the signal is running absolutely perfectly. But for some reason, the switcher software does not want to seem to connect to it properly. So I'm going to try doing it a little bit better and see if that makes a difference. But I don't know why it's doing that, and it's freezing again. So hopefully that should sort it out. Yeah, hopefully take two, says Sarah Jarvis. Yay, you're back. Yes, we're back. So I was talking about the decoupage sheets. I think the best thing for me to do is to move on and start doing some demoing, just so that we can let people sort of hopefully slowly come in. So I thought I would use the lemons and the limes, and I thought we would use that one. I think it's Facebook. New laptop is slow on Facebook also, not slow on anything else. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. There's nothing saying there's a problem on our side, but it seems to be Facebook is playing up. But again, it's a problem is when you do that, we lose lots of people and then they don't realise to come back. So we've sort of like lost 40 people on thingy, but I'm going to carry on for everybody anyway. And it's saying it's timing on my laptop as well. So, but I don't understand it all. Everything is running absolutely perfectly. So I'm going to try and update the software later and see what we're doing. So what I was going to do was to do the lemons, and I wanted to show you in the limes and the fruits, and I want to show you a couple of different ways to do that. So I've got 3 colours of VersaFine Clair, and I think that's one of the best ways to actually colour this and add to it. But also what we need to add as well is we need to actually use a little bit of my favourite secret weapon, which is VersaFine Vintage Sepia. This works so well for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lemon and I'm going to cut him solidly. I've got a load of these pieces already done, so you know I wanted to show you this one as a quick one. But what I'm going to do as well is, so I'm going to cut the lemon, but I want the leaf to work as well. And so rather than mess about and start cutting, colouring and all sorts of things, I'm going to use a little bit of green as well. I'm using our apple green, so I'm using all of our essential card at the moment. And so I'm just going to run that through and cut it. And because it's a good dye, it will cut too really easily. So there I've got my lemon one cut and my green one cut. So I'm going to come down so you can see in a little bit more detail. So you can see here, but of course it's very flat looking. It is very flat looking. So the best way to actually solve this and to get this going, I'm going to take first of all the lemon. So I want to use something with that beautiful lemon colour. And all I'm going to do is I want to colour over. So I'm just colouring over to give it a little bit of brightness in a couple of areas. You see already we're starting to get it to 3D a little bit. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the VersaFine Clair, the VersaFine Vintage Sepia. Take that up, and then in the air, I just want to just flick some around. You need to add shadow, and that's what makes things look 3D. So you don't even realise that I'm using brown on that. Black or grey would be too bright. So we're just going to use a little bit of brown on there. And I just want to rub a little bit over where those dots are. And can you see we're already starting to get it a lot more 3D than it was already. So just trying to force the camera to focus. There we go. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take off the little leaf, take a little bit of glue glaze and add some on and stick the whole lemon over the top. So I'm just going to drop that over. Yeah, a lot of people are saying about different formats and things that could be used. There aren't really any other formats but Facebook and YouTube that works. Not because you have to send out invitations to most other things. But you see there is our 3D lemon. As soon as we put them on white, how realistic does that look as compared to, and I'm going to cut one just to show you in a normal colour. So just cutting card. You need the basis really of the coloured card. So we're going to pop him out. But there, look. That's what we started with. That's what we're getting now. So just by adding that little bit of colour. So I wanted to show you then how we do one of the fruits and a couple of ways to do this. And my first thing to do this was to do this using, again, yellow card because I want to make lemon. So I'm going to take that die, just pop it down. Let's pull him back up a little bit and tape him down and just run that through. And again, it's very flat. So first thing I want to do is take some of the yellow and rub that on into the spaces because they've come up with the space. I'm not even doing that in the right place where you can see it. Sorry, guys. Or maybe it's frozen again. Who knows? So let's take another one and do that one. Bear with me a second. So I'm just running that through. I'm hoping, guys, you can see this. I think it's playing up again. Facebook's being an absolute nightmare. It just appears to be completely frozen. There we go. Oh, looks like I might have actually re-kick-started it again a little bit. Let's have a look. Let's return that round. Let's get this right. So hopefully we're back. I'm going to go over to the overhead again and hopefully show you now. Right, okay, bear with me. Sorry. I don't know what's going on tonight. I really don't. It is really massively playing up. And the camera appears to be working. So let's switch it off. And then we'll switch it back on again. No, it's not. It's not working right. You've lost the overhead and it's frozen on mine. There we go. Oh, that's better. Right, there we go. Now, so I've just coloured that one. I've cut it out. I'm going to take that one off and I'm going to colour it again over the top with yellow. And I thought, oh, that'll work and that'll be good. So we get that, and it looks really, really nice and really, really original. So, but then if I just flick around with a little bit of yellow, it looks a lot more realistic. And then again, take a little bit of brown just to darken it. And I'm just going to go around the edge. And then we get that perfect almost lemon slice. Yeah? But, so that's where we started and that's where we go to. But I thought, oh yeah, but these sort of fruit have white in them. So how about if we do it on white? So I thought I'll make a lemon and I'll make a lime. So I'm just going to tape that down, and I'm just running that through the machine. Yeah, Helen's just said it's back. Yeah, I'm sorry guys, I don't know what's going on. It's not our internet, so I genuinely do not know. Our internet is running absolutely fine, so I don't know why it's running so funny. So this time, doing it on white, I'm just going to colour through again with the yellow. I've let it slip, but I'm not worried. But then look, it's like you've got the pith this time. So a little bit of yellow around the edge, and then a little bit of the VersaFine on here. Thank you, Zena. Yeah, it is kind of doing my head in. I'm trying. So I said, well, we'll do a lime. And this is where I used these. I'm going to show you the apple as well. I was going to show you so much more, but I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to carry on. I'm hoping I get it fixed for tomorrow night's launch. We've got a launch. We've brought the launch forward of 2 more Christmas dies because we were expecting to launch something else. But unfortunately, they've not arrived. And rather than make people wait, we thought, no, let's get it right. So this time, I thought it's so much easier doing it on white. So I've got a piece of coconut white here. Let's just drop that back in properly. Oh, I like that. Anne says, if John gives you lemons, make lemonade. Yeah, it's not how I'm feeling at the moment. So let's take... So this time I'm using grass green from VersaFine Claire, and that gives me a really zesty lime colour without having to buy an ink that's like ridiculously lime shaded. So I'm going to ink through that, but then you've actually got that pith. So we're not taking the pith, we're leaving it there. And then just take the green and kind of go over and let it go really over like that. But then bring in the brown, and the brown is what makes the difference. So I'm taking some brown and just keep going like that. But can you see there, it just darkens and shades that outer skin, so it looks so much more realistic. So we've got a full lemon and some lemon wedges. So let's make those into a card. And that's what I thought would be the best thing to do. So what I've done here is I've already taken a piece of just a normal white stamping card, and I've stamped the sentiment on again from that beautiful sort of I think it was called Meadow Stamps. I can't remember. I don't know if it's still available. I'm really sorry. From Memory Box. But I just think it's absolutely fab because it's got things like sending, love your way, sunshine and wildflowers, you make my heart happy, thinking of you, everything, just a note. You know, it's got so many different pieces on that. Missing you, you are wonderful. There's some, you know, there's some really cool pieces. And I thought, I'll go with sunshine and wildflowers. I just love that as a sentiment. And we're using our lemons and we're going to use our limes. But it's again, I'm going to take a piece this time of like a lime coloured ribbon. And we can make a background for a card really, really easily. Nicola says it's a gin and tonic. I like that one. Oh, Helen, it's lovely to hear from you. I hope everything's okay with you too. I know you can only pop in for a minute, but it's so nice to see you popping in. So remember, the bundle I'm using, this is just one of the die sets in this set I'm using. It is just $8.99 for the whole set. And you're going to get all 3 sets in there. So I'll just put the link on again. So I'm just going to turn that over to the back. Take my tape and put it on. And cut that off. Now remember, if you're using and you've got something where, oh, that's a good idea, and Mountjoy, it would be great to have a lemon slice over a glass for a congratulations card. Oh, I like that idea. I think that's a really, really fab idea, that one. So, because I've used black, I need some more black. So I've matted and layered already a bigger piece of white and then a piece of black. And let's just find my foam tape. Did I leave it on there because I've used it in the Zoom card? No, probably not. Honestly, oh, there we go. It's hanging up. That's how disorganised I am now, with everything falling out. So let's go back. Yeah, so Facebook is back working again. I don't know why it's not. It's just doing it to annoy me, I think, to be quite honest. So I'm just going to add that on, just like that. And then I'm just going to arrange my lemons and my slices to be really, you know, to work with it, if that makes sense. So this is almost something you could have pre-done, but I'm going to go around that sort of slice or ribbon. But I think that just looks so pretty and so realistic. I'm going to bring another piece in. And again, you could do, that one's almost like it's an orange because it's almost an orangey brown. Yeah, fingers crossed it works for, okay, for tomorrow. So do I. I don't know what else we can actually do, to be quite honest, because I know it's not our internet. It's not anything we're doing. It's whether it's the weather or whether it's Facebook. I don't know. But hopefully it will work. But that just think is so cute. And again, you can put, you know, you can offset balance another one. So all I need to do with that one again is, so we take the colour we want to use, we put that quite widely around the outside, and then we take a little bit of VersaFine Vintage Sepia and put that just on the edge, and that's what turns it and makes it look very 3D. It's like using alcohol pens and using 3 colours to make something work. To get the right shading. That's what we've actually done with this. Oranges and apples would be wonderful on your... Oh, they would. I never thought of that, Debbie. I think that's a brilliant idea. I want to find one now and make a sort of wreath card. So all I would do is take a card blank to that. I've got one that's a little bit bigger here. So I'm just going to glue that onto it. And then I'll trim that down. There we go. Perfect. There we go. So a perfect little small sweet card. Lovely get well card as well. Shahab, are we having a pre-order for tomorrow's dies in case the internet plays up? I believe we are, Shahab. I believe they will go out at lunchtime, but we'll put a post out as soon as we know what's happening and that is happening. So let's just take this one. Andy Whitaker, sorry I'm late. Don't have to apologise. We appreciate anybody who turns up and comes in. We genuinely do. There's no time limit. There's no you've got to do that one. Right, just to let you know, the grass green has now gone out of stock. So has the fruits on its own. So they're only available in the bundle. So if you wanted the bundle, they're only available in that. And that is such a good value because you're getting the beautiful heart die in there as well. So that was using that one. I wanted to show you as well how we did the apples, the open apples and pears, and the closed apples and pears. So for this, I'm going to use those dies. So I want the sort of outside, and the inside for each of those. And it's a really similar idea. This signal stuff must have driven you crazy, John. So glad we got the Zoom workshop done without losing you. There was no problem with the Zoom class. And again, we're showing us no problems at all on the internet. So I don't know what's going on, whether it's something to do with Facebook again. I think they're wanting to reduce the amount down. I think they're wanting to reduce the bandwidth on Facebook down. They'll probably start charging everybody next. So I'm just going to cut all 4 together. And you don't have to do anything else with these apart from cut them. So Nice and simple. And again, I'm cutting them in white. So let's take these out. Now, first thing, before you do anything at all, the open ones, you just want to do a little bit of colouring through. It just proves it is Facebook. Mine did not glitch at all today. Yeah, Nicola, and it is Facebook, but, you know, we can't really shout at them. I'm just hoping it'll be okay tomorrow. So, I'm just put them back in. And the only reason is I want these little pips. And I want the little pips to show. And I'm actually using a dauber. And I'm actually using black for this. So I'm just going to ink through. And ink through. I never showed you the decoupage cards, did you? Because we got broken up. Look, the decoupage is stunning. that's the centre of one of my dies, but it works like that Eclipse card. So, but the decoupage follows on this fruit look. So if you get chance, have a look over on the page and add the decoupage in, because it's really worth it. At like £1.10 a sheet, it really is worth it. So just first of all doing that, but you think, oh, it's not really done anything else. We've got the pips now, but they're not looking realistic. Yeah. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to colour these. So start, I'm using both colours of the green, the grass green and the green oasis. So starting with the grass green, and all I want to do for these is just, same again, flick around the outside, because the flesh is obviously white, but I want it to be a little bit mucky. So I'm going to go through and just flick around the outsides of these, just like that. Then work the colour off and then just lightly colour over. And I don't know if you can see, but look, that brings out that debossed area in the middle. But then take the brown and do the same thing again. Just randomly, little bit. Because it darkens it, it makes it look more realistic. Little bit in the middle, but then look, suddenly, that actually looks like a cut pear. And then same, let's take a little bit more. I just picked up the wrong colour there. Little bit around the outside, colour in the middle. So you can see then, look, we've got really realistic looking cut apples and pears with no time at all. It's definitely Facebook, says our Julie. I can comment, but not like anything that's across all of Facebook for me. Yeah, it's, I don't know what's going on with it. Right, so now to do the solid ones, and I'll show you what I've done. I'll show you two I've done actually, one of each. And you'll think I spent hours colouring, shading, alcohol inking. No, it's so easy, really is. So I start with our lightest green and I colour it over roughly. Yeah, let's come down a bit more so you can see a little bit better. Okay, so just colour over. Don't get it right, you want it almost patchy. Yeah, then come in with the darker green. So this is the green oasis. And I'm just going to then add that in there. Darker on one side, but can you see it's already 3Ding? Lighter on the other side. Yeah. And then take your VersaFine Vintage Sepia and add that on. And that's what really does suddenly 3D it. And I just take a little bit over the top so I get some discoloration. But that's how we go from a pure white pear to a solid coloured pear. And it looks to me like a conference pear, it really does. If you want to make it a little bit brighter, here's a little trick. You take a little bit of yellow and just put that on. So we've used 4 colours. So exactly the same with the apple. I've taken the apple and you watched, all I did was put some of the grass green on. I'm now going to go with the green oasis. Heavier on one side, lighter on the other. So I get that shine almost. Then in with our vintage sepia. And Mount Joy up the apples and pears. I like that, Anne. And again, rub a little bit on. And if you want to brighten it, a little bit of yellow. And suddenly we've got a 3D apple. So we've got a sliced pear and a full pear, a sliced apple and a full apple. Yeah, just work. I think they're so cute. And literally the bundle that includes these has 2 other die sets with it, is just $8.99. It is a crazy price. So I'm going to actually use the heart die from the Lucky Clover, so from the 4-leaf clover die. So let's pull that one up. And again, I'm just going to take a little bit of the yellow card and I'm just going to tape that down and cut that one. Can I show what's in the other sets? I can, yes. I'm so sorry, Christine. So the other set is this one, and you get the 4-leaf clover, the stem, the 2 butterflies, and this beautiful heart that I'm literally just cutting now, which you cut 4 times to fit inside that outline, which is what made us this beautiful card here. And this one here, just using the hearts. So that's just using the heart on its own. But that, how detailed is that? I mean, that's like something I'd draw and then be told, no, you can't have it. But it literally is a beautiful, beautiful piece. So here I've got my heart. I will show you how the bouquet works as well. But don't forget, we have got the other bundle tonight, which is the one that our Nicola had to have. The pears on the fruit on their own have sold out. Gosh, get the graphics right, John. Which is just £4, which is that medical set. Need some bells to go with our oranges and lemons. Say the bells of St Clement's. I owe you 2 farthings, says the bells of St Martin's. I can't remember if that's right. But I love that little heart. I just think it works so, so well. But we forget we can do this with the same piece. So I'm going to take the heart, because I'm going to make this up into a card. And I'm going to colour him in the same sort of way. So we'll just cut him. And then we're going to use and add our apples and pears on. So we'll take him out. So I want to keep this in the same sort of colours. So I'm going again with that grass green. Not getting it neat everywhere. We want sort of things to look a little bit 3D-ish. And again, a little bit of the brown. vintage sepia is a great way to 3D pieces and also to age them. Because you see there, look, you've got that beautiful aged look. So let's just use it a little bit on the yellow, just so that doesn't look quite as sharp either. And then I'm going to take, so I've got a few more pieces cut here. There we go. So I've just got a little background. I've just taken some little dot stencil and put that on there. So we're going to take our little hearts and we'll just spray glue those on. I like that. Yeah, Nicola says shabby chic when it's not neat. Yeah, perfect. And then I'm going to go with the sentiment that I've used on the others, which is you make my heart happy. And I'm not going to go for any black, so I'm going to use brown. But I thought this is a great sort of get well soon card without having to have, I don't think I've got a single sentiment that says get well soon. I really haven't. So you make my heart happy. I love it when they come in separate pieces like that. And then again, just some 3D glue gel. And we'll use the solid. And the cut pears. And I'll use the solid and the cut apples. And I'm going to slide in as well a lime and a lemon that I'd already got prepped as well, just to bring all those colours, to make it bounce really. So just like that. So I'm going to add another cut apple that I've made, all done the same sort of way. I love the new Christmas sentiment on the new dies for tomorrow. They're amazing. So clever how you designed it. Thank you, Anne. That's really kind. That's genuinely really, really kind. And again, we just pop that onto a card blank. I've got one cut to size. But I like that. I don't know why. I really like that. Say it's all white card. Actually, apart from 2 bits of yellow, it's all white card. Nicola's saying I would be lost now without glue gel. I would, Nicola. I'd use it so constantly for so many different things. It's crazy. So there's the two. Now I did say I will very quickly show you how to use the bouquet, because this is a fab one, because this has got a deboss area and we add detail literally by just inking the die. Again, look, roughly, not too much, just again I'm using vintage sepia, and we put that on and it looks like it's crashed again. Why are you constantly doing this? That's on blue. Right, so I've no idea, guys. It looks like it's crashed again. If you can hear me, please join me tomorrow night at 6 o'clock here on The Art of Craft for the launch of the brand new Christmas collection, and I will try and work out what's going on with Facebook, but I think we're going to have to call it a day for